So I am on a 78-45 run with the complimentary plays here on the Video Report over the past 63 days. And yesterday suffered only the 14th losing day in that stretch with the plays I'm giving away. As Michigan State fell short against Oregon, Florida didn't get the job done against East Carolina, Georgia Tech did get the win. But you have to say that the other three games that I previewed yesterday, I was right there. I nailed all three of those matchups, how they play out. California crushing San Diego State, Hawaii getting the cover against Ohio State, and also Mississippi State holding on for the cover at home against LSU. But what did I do? I went out and I released the worst play in the entire history of college football yesterday. Yes, the entire history of college football. There were 742 games yesterday on the card, and I found the game that was the most embarrassing play on the board. Yes, I managed to pick the biggest upset of the day and go against the team that won by backing Arkansas, a 3-touchdown favorite in Little Rock yesterday against Toledo. Toledo, the Mid-American Conference, as you know, one of my favorite conferences in college football. Toledo, minus its top running back, a guy who averaged over 8 yards a carry last year, minus one of its top defensive players, comes into Little Rock and wins the damn game outright. Now, a win is a win, a loss is a loss, but there are some losses that are just beyond embarrassing. And that was the play yesterday. I will say unequivocally, there will be no other handicapper at this site for the rest of the season, maybe for the rest of the decade, that will have that bad of a loss on their record. Oh, my God, Arkansas. Listen, Arkansas fans, you never were really happy having to go to Little Rock for your games because it was like a 3-hour trip from Fayetteville. You'll never want to go to Little Rock again. Oh, my God, it's a day of mourning in the state of Arkansas. They probably closed all the Walmarts to celebrate. Just a horrific, horrific play. And you know what? In reality, I've had horrible plays like that before. And in reality, I've had losing streaks before. And the essential reality, I should say, is this. It's part of gambling. It's this thing that we do called gambling that we love, that you have to accept the fact you're going to have days like this. You're going to have losing streaks like this, because if you go in thinking that you're going to win every single day, well, I don't know what drugs you're doing, but obviously I could have used some of them yesterday, most likely. A little antidepressants, maybe a little mood elevators after seeing Arkansas's pathetic performance. But the reality is that you're going to lose, and you're going to have horrific plays like that. And you know what? The only thing that you can do is that you have to mutter your favorite obscenity. As for me, I used my obscenity quotient and took an advance on October and November after seeing how that game played out yesterday. Shrug your shoulders and move on. It's the only thing you can do. You got to look for the next day, the next money-making opportunity, because the fact is, if you played within your money management system, and remember, what is money management? At its basis point, money management means how much you can afford to lose on any given day, any given week, any given season. That's money management. So going into the NFL season, as I told you on Thursday, I'm going to repeat again for you today what I tell you at the start of every single season. The key to money management, forget all these guys who come up with all these calculations and quotient points and make you feel like you had to go to MIT like they did. No, money management really, when it comes to football and here starting the NFL season, is how much money can you afford to lose for the entire season? I know that sounds ass backwards, but think about this, guys. How much can you afford to lose for the entire season? You come up with that figure. Then you take 20 weeks, let's say, gets you through the entire regular season, college football season, even most of the bowl season. You divide that number that you come up with by 20, and that's the amount that you could afford to lose, worst case scenario, every single week. Now, if you're going to play Saturday and Sundays only, you divide that number by 2. If you're going to play Thursday through Monday, you divide that number by 4 or 5. And then you know how much you can allocate per day. Now, those numbers constantly have to be revitalized throughout the season, recalculated, because as you win money, probably, you're always going to have a bigger pot, and then you have to do the division and the math once more. But that way, by following that easy formula, you never get into a financial abyss from which there is no escape. So my play on Arkansas was devastating yesterday. I mean, it was a horrific play, but it was one play and it was one day, and it didn't bankrupt me for the season, and it shouldn't have bankrupted you either. It sucked that I lost, but the reality is, if you remember this, always look on the negative and then turn it into the positive. In this particular case, when it comes to money management, how much can you afford to lose for the entire season? And then do your division. Again, That's how you never get into that hole from which there is no escape. Now, just because I lost yesterday doesn't mean some of the guys didn't. How about Brad Wilton? Congratulations going out to him. Yesterday, a monster 150 dime release. And he put on his website it was going to be a 4-touchdown blowout winner. Well, he was pretty damn close because he had Kansas State yesterday at San Antonio, and Kansas State got the job done yesterday. The final score in that contest, it was 30-3. Well, he was 1 point off, but damn it, it was a hell of a play, wasn't it? And it was 7-3 at halftime, right? So I'm searching through my cable channels yesterday, and there was like 300 games on. And I finally find the game right at the second half kickoff, and it was 7-3 at halftime. Kansas State runs the ball back. They get a nice big pass play. They move the ball down the field. They settle for a field goal, and I'm thinking there is no way he is laying a couple of touchdowns in this game. There's no way he's going to win it. Final score 30-3. That's because he didn't use Arkansas yesterday. That's why he won that damn game. 100-dime, 150-dime play. Number 7 out of 8 goes today. Just like yesterday's. It was the half-price play of the day. It's half-price today. It's the Colts-Bills early game. This is the biggest football play he has had in the NFL since he debuted at this site right before the Super Bowl in 2013. You get it as the half-price play of the day by using coupon code 150DIMES, 150DIMES. Listen, I'm going to get to your free picks in a minute, but I've got to tell you another play that I thought was really a bold play yesterday. Matt Rivers yesterday said that he had the biggest blowout on the college football card as a top-rated 500,000 star play in his first college play of the season. He said that his team would win by at least 40 points. And who the hell did he use? Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. Oh, my God. They won by 55 points at home yesterday against Tulane. They easily covered the 31-point number. FYI, he's got the Sunday night game. It's another top-rated 500,000 star release, number 16 out of 23. Sunday night winner, number 7 out of 9. You get it at a savings of $70 by using coupon code MATT, which means you get Cowboys and Giants to side for $29. Listen, all your other coupons, etc., are over on the homepage. Let me get to your complimentary plays here for today. The first game I want to take a look at is going to be the contest between Tampa Bay and Tennessee. You know all the side carnival show dealings here in this game with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, etc. Here's the thing. I think Tampa Bay has a better defense. And I like the fact that Lovie Smith, one of the better defensive coordinators ever in history in the NFL, right, is coming and taking over the calling of the defensive signals this season for his team. I think that offensively, having Mike Evans come back to the lineup today is a huge boost for Winston. Having Doug Martin look refreshed in the preseason and look like he's the running back he was from a couple years ago will only help to lighten the load. This Tennessee team, they allowed the 3rd most points in the NFL last season. I didn't see their defense getting any better. Only the Bears and the Raiders gave up more points than them if you happen to be on Jeopardy next week. They only forced 16 turnovers this year. I've got Tampa Bay -3. I'm buying down the half point. I'm taking the Bucs in this game. Your other complimentary play, let's talk about that Buffalo-Indianapolis play. I mean, the line is right there, right around the field goal, right? Because it's Rex Ryan, because it's the Bills, because all the offseason moves they made, they seem to be like the soup du jour play of the day. Everybody, it's kind of like the fashionable play. Hey, we're going to take the Bills here today at home. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time taking Tyrod Taylor making his first NFL start after sitting 4 years behind Joe Flacco in Baltimore against Andrew Luck. And especially when you consider that the Colts went out and got him Andrew Johnson, boosted his offensive line by getting Todd Hermans after the Eagles cut him, gave him Frank Gore in the backfield. Something tells me that Luck is going to have a little more offensive firepower this year. Not that he didn't have a lot to begin with. And in terms of the Bills, okay, they got LaShawn McCoy from Philadelphia. He missed most of the preseason with the hamstring. He says he's good to go today. Percy Harvin is expected to play today. But Tyrod Taylor against Andrew Luck, and you're talking about a field goal game? Call me a sucker. Of course, you called me worse yesterday when I lost with Arkansas. We won't go into those terms. But I got to lay it with the Colts, right? Listen, it's not a game I would personally bet. That's why it's a free play. But it's a game that I'm fascinated to watch because Tyrod Taylor actually had a very good preseason. Did exceptionally well with his legs. Got himself out of a lot of trouble. I don't see him being able to do that today against the Colts. I think he's going to have to sit back in the pocket and look for a bunch of underneath routes against the Colts defense, which isn't great. But listen, the Colts are 8-3-1 against the spread as a road chalk since Andrew Luck's arrival. I know the Bills have won 6 of their last 7 openers. I know they've covered 5 of those games. But this is a field goal game, and it's Andrew Luck against Tyrod Taylor, for Christ's sake. I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts here. A couple of other games, just a couple of quick thoughts. Miami Dolphins laying like a field goal at Washington. They went out and got the big fella from Detroit to solidify their defense, which is very good to begin with. They invested the money in Tannehill at quarterback. Kirk Cousins, 2-7 as a starter in the NFL. And he's a turnover machine. Enough said. I think Miami, I probably lean toward them. I think the Houston-Kansas City game was kind of interesting today. Kansas City's got to be able to run. Jamal Charles has got to be able to crank out those yards. Heck, Texans are tough to run on. I mean, you already got J.J. Watt and that imposing front line, and then you add the big nose tackle from the Patriots, the journeyman Woolfolk up there as well. I mean, he just takes up so much space physically. Yes, Brian Hoyer is your quarterback for the Texans, but listen, he is probably going to do very well this year under Bill O'Brien as one-time offensive coordinator at New England. It would help if they had Arian Foster today. That's the bottom line. Alex Smith, another struggle in the preseason, even though the Chiefs did become the only NFL preseason team this summer to go undefeated in the meaningless games, but the Texans have won 5 straight home openers. Meanwhile, Kansas City just 1-3 in their last 4 road openers. But again, it's a tough game. It's a virtual pick'em game. I lean a little toward Houston, but not a game that I would personally touch. So anyway, those are the other games I happen to focus on today. But again, your official complimentary plays are going to be the Colts and the Bucks. And in either case, as that line crosses 3, 4, 7, 10 sometimes, I'm always buying the half point. So I'm buying down the half point on the Buccaneers and on the Colts as well if that line approaches 3. That'll do it, guys, for Sunday. Best of luck to you all, and come back tomorrow. Talk about those 2 Monday night games, which I've never understood, because one Monday night game is always promising to be good. Obviously, the Eagles and Falcons. And then the other Monday night game, does anybody really care about the Vikings and the 49ers? Well, maybe when they scheduled this one on the season, the schedule makers made the schedule originally because they thought the 49ers might actually be good. And you got Teddy Bridgewater and you got AP coming back for the Vikings. But does anyone care about the late game tomorrow night? I just don't understand why there has to be 2 Monday night games on the first Monday of the season. And then they make the Eagles and the Falcons game so early. Great for me because I want to watch it as a fan. But why wouldn't you take that other game and throw it on Friday night? Throw it on Saturday. Oh, you don't want to conflict with college football? Okay, I understand. But who cares about that game, the late game, other than 49ers and Vikings fans tomorrow night? Anyway, that'll do it. Good luck. Talk to you again tomorrow.